Hi, everybody. Today with us is Valentina, but everybody calls her Tina Meić. She's our guest for today, and we're going to discuss many different topics. And she's a former, uh, actually, you were 2 decades in successful career in corporate marketing. But after all that, you made a big change and dedicated yourself fully to the worlds of psychology and human growth. Your commitment to this new path is so clear in your extensive training. You are not just a certified coach, but also an advanced facilitator in process utilizing expanded states of consciousness, having completed the intensive Grof Transpersonal Training. Now you are guiding people through these profound internal processes at retreats and individually, both in Croatia and internationally. What really stands out is your dedication to wholeness from the very start of life, recognizing the enormous impact of our earliest experiences. You also became a birth doula, providing essential education and encouragement for conscious childbirth and postpartum. You bring a beautiful integrated view to your practice, blending modern therapeutic models with timeless wisdom of shamanic practices that you learned during your travels. And this is kind of your holistic approach. And also, you said that your greatest source of knowledge and motivation is your own 4-year-old daughter. Tina, welcome to the Bloom Magic podcast. Thank you for being here. How are you?
Hi, Mateus. Thank you for having me here. I'm pretty excited to be on this podcast with you. My husband was with you a couple of
Mhm.
weeks ago, and yeah, I can't wait to share what I experienced in my journeys.
Yeah, today we have a topic today about holotropic breathing
It's
and
actually
many
holotropic breath work,
breath
so
work.
it's
Okay,
working with the breath. Yeah.
working with the breath. We're gonna come to that in a bit.
Mhm.
Also, we're gonna touch about psychedelics with the in treatment, in modern treatment and everything. But let's start with your story. How did Tina go from corporate to shamanic witch? No, I'm joking, but
No, yeah. You can say
I'm
that. You
I'm
can say.
joking. I'm joking. But tell us your story a little bit.
So yeah, I did have career in actually finances in a very harsh industry, and at some point in my professional career, I was questioning the whole system. Like I think many people come to that point. Like, is this it? Like it's so, especially when I started, and then I started coaching training. Um, Actually, since high school, I was always interested in psychology, and I actually wanted to study psychology, but ended up on economy in a university just because, and because it was more convenient and you can find a better job. This
Yeah,
beliefs
I
that
know.
were inserted in us. So yeah, then my love for psychology never stopped, and actually I realized that most of what I achieved in my career was due to my relations with people, and that's why I wanted to start. I started to work on myself, like it's popular
Mhm.
now. I did my own therapies, and then came across coaching academy of executive coaching, which gave me a really nice framework of how to talk with people. I usually did talk with people about their problems all my life,
Mhm.
but now I had, a nice framework to work within. And this is how it all started. And then I started my own transformation, because whenever you're trained for anything like coach or therapy or facilitation, it's not really a training. It's basically you going through your own stuff before you become capable of doing this kind of service. So yeah, for me, it started with coaching, and then thanks to my dear friend from childhood, I discovered also holotropic breathwork, and was really lucky that one of my first modules I went to was with Stanislav Grof, and I was amazed with everything that he was saying, and it's resonated with me so much because I had already some experiences to confirm that. And really, this is why I chose this path, because it made so much sense to me. And since then, this was 2009. And then obviously, when you are in this holotropic environment and close to Stanislav Grof, you need to become curious about psychedelics. And getting to know the sacred plants. I met my husband, Leo, and we started to journey together and to take people to the journeys with us, basically. We spent some time in Ecuador. He was telling you about that, and it really was transformational. Somewhere along the line, when I started to become aware what my true purpose, let's say, is, I lost that identity of corporate. I didn't quit, it just dissolved somehow. And everybody was, telling me, are you sure, you had such a good career, you have so much money, you didn't have to care about anything. But for me, this was a calling that I couldn't resist, to really get out of that system in that engaged way. I mean, we're still part of the system. We live here. We share what we know, and we work with people who are very much still involved in this. But for me, it really made sense to distance myself from that and completely commit to healing myself.
I
And then
understand.
helping others to heal themselves too.
Yeah, I understand. It's like you just don't belong there anymore. Your soul doesn't want to go there anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a process. I made an article, excuse me, about Stanislav Grof about a
Mhm.
couple months ago. And when I do these articles, I watch a lot of stuff, videos, or I read before I really put it there. But it's great to have somebody who worked with him. And could you explain your training
Mhm.
and what does he, because it's all connected, psychedelics, breath work, and everything. But if you can start with your training and explain to us the the belief system, not, I don't know how this the right word, it's not belief system,
A
but
paradigm. We call it a
yeah,
paradigm.
paradigm behind
Yeah.
his teachings,
Mhm.
because he's well known otherwise,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's like a lot of topics just from here we will attack. But if you maybe start with your training, how was that for you, and what did you maybe learn on in that process of going through the training?
Okay, so yeah, holotropic training is really intensive. So you need to structurally, you need to finish 7 modules where you are for a week immersed in your own experiences of breathings, and also learning about the holotropic paradigm, about body work that we use, about the music that we use. Also, I will tell a little bit about the method later, but it's a very extensive training. And what I said before, it's basically going really deep and really getting rid of all the obstacles and all the old beliefs, because it's completely new. For me, the most important thing that happened there is that I confirmed what I already knew before, and that is that we all carry inside of ourselves some part of us that always wants to be well, that always wants us well. And no matter what happens to us in terms of traumas and heavy life experiences, we always have one part that is guiding us on the right path. And the connection with this part is something that you need to establish. In holotropic training, this is called inner healer, inner healing wisdom. And it's basically about that, to let this inner healing wisdom bring you whatever you need, and to start to follow it, and to start to really, making decisions aligned with your true self. And also, this is what happens in expanded states of consciousness. This connection is easier. It's almost automatic in expanded states of consciousness. That's why Stanislav Grof called those states expanded states that are guiding us toward healing. He called them holotropic states of consciousness.
Okay. Okay. So can you like take us like example, let's just go through the case, right? So let's say I come to you. You had one session just before we started it. Yeah. So how this looks, like how it looks, because we have like you said me like what you want to talk about. So if you want to attack on something that is more important for people to know before you tell me this, go ahead. But just maybe if you can tell us how it looks, the whole
No
process.
problem. I mean, we can,
Okay.
weave it in
Okay.
and
Okay. Okay.
everything. So usually we have, it can be done in an individual setting and also in a workshop. In individual setting, when we have this, it's always the same principle. We have preparation, sessions, and integration. Preparation is the part where we talk about the theory about the holotropic paradigm, about the cartography of the psyche, that comes from Stan's work. And then the session itself is 3 hours. In this session, if you are individual, that is just this one session. If we are in a workshop setting, then people work in pairs. So you have 2 sessions. One session you breathe, and in the other session you sit or watch over someone who is breathing.
Okay.
That means that everybody in the workshop has 100% attention all of the time. This is a part of safety that is also very important in achieving expanded states of consciousness. And after this part, what is called session, there is integration, which means that the experiences you have in expanded states of consciousness are often not so easy explainable, let's say, with words.
It's
Because in
very
this state,
difficult, yeah.
you kind of shut down a little bit of your mental brain and your inner chatter, and it's about the experiencing the body, the emotions, and after that, in order to integrate what you experienced in your session, to integrate it into everyday life, you need to do something. You need to translate it somehow. What does it mean for me? I saw butterflies. What does it mean for me? Do I have to grow butterflies now, or just maybe it's a sign that I need sometimes to stop and watch a butterfly? So this is a part of integration. It's always this preparation, session, integration. And it's also in work with psychedelics. It's now in this new renaissance, this holotropic training actually, and the way that we guide sessions is also very much used in psychedelic training, in psychedelic therapy. It's always about it.
Okay. So where does the psychedelics come in?
Well, first there were some psychedelics, and then it was holotropic breathwork.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know the story of Stan Grof being a volunteer and having a high dose of LSD back in the 50s.
Yeah.
And this changed his whole life path. And basically, the whole theory that comes from him is based on his experiences with people in expanded states of consciousness. So he made like first with LSD and then with other substances, because he was in John Hopkins and they were doing extensive research back in the
Hmm.
day. So he was just collecting the experiences, and from this information, he was basically remapping the psyche, uh, which is very interesting because none of other um, branches of psychology were not paying much attention to this kind of mystical experiences or experiences that are not from everyday life, not biographical. Everybody knew that there is subconscious,
Hmm.
by that time it was already known, Freud, Jung, but this other part, the one that Jung talks about in his later work, and even Abraham Maslow came to the conclusion that after we satisfy all our 7 needs, there is an 8th need that usually comes, and this is a need for transcendence. So basically, Stan was collecting experiences of people having transcended experiences, luminous experiences, mystical, something that couldn't be explained from their biography. And this is how his theory, it's not a theory, it's basically a collection of experiences of people who were going through processes. And he was working with also heavy cases. So he, as any scientist, he was trying to find correlations. And it's amazing, you mentioned it already, the beginning of life processes. So in this expanded states of consciousness, people would go to often to the time of their birth, either immediately before the birth or being in the womb, or immediately after birth, or the whole process. And through his cartography of the psyche, he managed to connect certain procedures that are done in modern times and how they affect the baby to the problems or mental health issues that people have later in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they all, I mean, a lot of people like him says the first 7 years, right? It's very, for a human, it's the most important. And basically, for a lot of people, like you said, or is that trauma or whatever, let's say, negative experience in lives come from that, or already in the womb, or even before the birth, or the first day of pregnancy, or any time in that part, right? So this is where all that, I don't know, you can please correct me, but all, I don't know, your psychic or your mental issues, I don't know if I expressed myself well, but uh, are seated in you, and then you have to deal with that kind of approach to your life. You have that approach to your life, right? Is that
Yeah.
something like that?
It's exactly that. I mean,
Okay,
I can share my own
okay,
experience from this part.
please.
Like I was experiencing in very first sessions, I had holotropic breathwork sessions. I was experiencing this pain. I would clench like this and go like this, and it was super painful for the body, like something was crushing me. but also the emotions that came where I was really angry and mad, and I was frustrated, and I felt that I was left alone, and that I have to struggle all alone through this and da, 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 da. I didn't know what was it all about, and through, and integration processes that are included in holotropic breathwork, I came to the conclusion that it must have been something around my birth. So I went to my mom and I was like, so what happened when I was getting born? And she told me that at some point she was in the hospital. And at some point, she already started to have really strong contractions and had the urge to push. But the nurses told her that, you cannot push now because doctor is not here. You need to wait for the doctor. He's at lunch and he will be here in an hour. And this is the hour where I felt all this, and if you could see me back then in my life, I had to do everything alone. Like I wouldn't ask for help. I wouldn't delegate. I had to do everything alone. Even today, when I'm carrying everything from the car, Leo has to remind me about it. Like, yeah, remember you solved that trauma. You don't have to do it all alone. But this is how deep it goes.
Yeah.
We develop from this early imprint, we develop certain behaviors. And Stan also had a deeper theory than that. It's called the system of condensed experiences, or COEX system.
Okay.
So he was saying that it's not even coincidence that we have particular birth process, because we're probably bringing it from even before, or
Yeah.
from the transpersonal domain, which means whatever it means for anyone. It's either past lives
Past lives.
or collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Everything is out there.
Yeah.
Everything is in collective consciousness. You can connect to everything. So and he says that he's noticed that people have the experiences that feel the same, that have same sensations or same emotional patterns, or that are connected before, like from transpersonal domain, then at birth, and then in life. You can really see in people's life that they have situations where this is manifested and actually reconfirmed or re-traumatized, if you want.
Yeah. Well, the way I see that is basically because we choose when we are going to be born, where, parents and everything. So basically, the way I see this is like we come for experience, right?
Yeah.
So we come to learn something. So we decided to come on Earth to learn something from previous lives we maybe didn't learn. Or this is this is based on my own research and my own experience on work on myself, right? And everything that I experienced personally, and talking to other people. So this is how, and do the research, or let's say based on Dolores Cannon, or I had a past life hypnosis, DMT, and so on. So different aspects of dealing with my own healing in the past, right, showed me this knowledge, let's call it like that,
Okay.
or experience. So what he's saying is like it's coming. So when you said this, that it's already decided. So basically that hour for you, you actually already decided,
I asked
because
for it.
yeah, you asked for it because you had to go in your life through everything, so you became who you are now. So
Yeah.
that hour was the trigger for your trauma that put you on this path that you are now. Because what happens is that when we decide, because why we don't, I think Dolores Cannon talked about that, but like when we decide to come here, our soul remembers all our past lives. And people that did past lives readings or hypnosis, they know what I'm talking about, but it's like basically you know why you come here and you decide. But in the process of birth or even before when the soul comes here, we forget everything. And the role, I mean, the most important thing for us, what I learned so far, is that we try to remember why we are here, really why we are here, and who we are actually.
Yeah.
After all these 7 years of society and parents, they tell us who we need to be and so on and so forth. And what he says makes complete sense, right? And yeah, it's I'll give you an example that I was working with a theta healer, theta healing
Mhm.
for me, and when I finished my healing, so let's call it certificates or learning, he gave us example of how our psychic work, and uh, a woman, and she came to him. It's like, all my life I have been, like secretary to director. I always been second to the top, or like I
Mhm.
always been there, but I was never at the top. And she's like, why? Why I can't be director, example? And he said, like, well, there was a moment in your life when you and your sister and mom went to a shop when you were very like a kid, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, whatever,
Mhm.
and she bought only a lollipop for your sister and she did it for you. And this is how you develop that. She felt less because of that. Mother
Mhm.
probably didn't do that on purpose. She
Yeah.
didn't like, oh, I'm not gonna buy, but in that moment, and that reflected her whole life, self-worth. He went to this explaining 20 minutes why and so on. I'm not going to do that, but this is how we are affected that we don't even understand, especially when you're 5, you don't understand these things, right?
Or when you're a few months old,
Or for
you know?
humans also, or even in a stomach, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because the practices that we have now in this
Mhm.
modern world is, first of all, pregnancy and the whole birth process and everything is very much medicinized. Doctors, hospitals, fears around that. It's not normal. Like our ancestors, they used to pop the child, when they're in the field doing something, because it was normal, it was natural. I mean, I've been watching now lately. We had kittens and also puppies, and I was watching this how my young
Mhm.
dog is capable of doing everything by herself. So there is our natural, but the way that everything is done, so then we are separated from our mothers. Then our mothers have to go to work. We come home, okay, we have this 1 year. We are lucky in this part of world because in the States they have like 6 weeks of maternity leave. So you are on that maternity leave, you can take care of the child. But then at 1 year old we were usually put in kindergartens, and this, it can be completely harmless and nobody wanted any harm. But if you leave a child of 1 year in a kindergarten alone without parents or anybody they know, they will have heavy experiences. I don't want to say traumatized because not everything is a trauma, but they will definitely have heavy experiences that can reflect later in their life.
Mhm.
We are all seeking attention, not all the time. It's because we didn't have enough attention growing up. We're all in some kind of uh, this need for human contact, for compassion, for just cuddling. It's also because of that, because of the way that our society functions. Parents have to go to work. You don't have the luxury of spending time with your child. And
Mhm.
this was confirmed to me now that I had a child, that this is all they need. Just our presence and constant showing of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much is easier for you to be a mother that you went through that process of healing?
Well, first of all, I didn't know that I wanted to be a mother. It's through the holotropic breath work and working with
Okay.
sacred plants that I came to realize that, I actually do want to be a mother and I want to have my own child. It was, and then I met Leo, and actually I was in a ceremony. I was praying for a sign, like, okay, baby, if you want to be born, just show me your father. And I was looking in this ceremony, and that was the ceremony where I met Leo. But I didn't realize that she was pointing at him.
It's over there next to you, like just open your eyes.
um, so, and when we met, we both want, as we fell in love, we really wanted, to have this being that is part of him and part of me, and that we can nourish to in a way that we know that children have to be nourished. So, but it wasn't easy because I was 40 at the time, and I also had my own fears that as I was working through it, mostly with the plants, it was connected to my feminine ancestral um trauma, basically transgenerational trauma, where my ancestors were losing babies, and I was afraid that I would lose a baby. And I had to go through a lot of healing for them, like lots of crying and grieving that they were not able to do, in order to clean that and to clean my own fears of, bringing a child to this world. So when this happened, and it happened in a beautiful way because she was born at home, uh, just us and midwife and doula were observing, but me and Leo like danced through that night, and he really supported me and to bring her to this world in the most easy way possible, or the least traumatic. This was the idea, and yeah, and this is how we actually want to continue, and this is why I was breastfeeding her as long as she wanted, and this is why we keep this close connection even now, because from what I experienced, this part of life, when we are so little and vulnerable and so dependent on our caretakers, is really determining how we are later in life. And if we here don't get what we need, we will be asking or looking for it throughout the life.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
hey,
why I wanted also to become a doula, because I was helping friends. They had also home birth.
mhm,
This is how I got introduced, and I wanted to be a doula to help people who help women who
mhm,
want, or families who want to
mhm,
go through this journey together, because it's not about women deciding, it's about the whole family deciding they want to go this path, and then
mhm.
really trust the nature and the process, you know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, uh, it's this ancestors line, right? This was
Yeah.
something completely unknown to me about 3 years ago. I came to that, and I just had like last week a very powerful psychedelic cacao ritual with truffles, where I mean, finally, I didn't know it was time, but I asked friends that they helped me with the session, and yeah, I had finally cut the old version. I don't know how do you say in a professional way, but I actually had to, through this session, cut the old version of ancestors
Mhm.
and build a new line.
Mm-hmm.
that was on respect, love, help,
Mm-hmm.
because my line was very, very, very difficult and very not so light. Let's call it like that. And it took me now basically till yesterday to get kind of integrated to some level. I'm sure it's gonna come more,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like something ended. It really feels in me, and it's kind of very. It was very unexpected because that was not my intention when we
Yes.
started this session, right?
It's your
Uh,
inner healer.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's so many these different styles of growth colors like that. Some other calls it like that. I can only express how I feel, like, and it was very, very difficult process. I had to overcome because they were showing me so much fear and not my fear, but everybody. And they showed me how my line was. Sick, let's call it like that. I'm not sure that's the right expression, but they were
Wounded.
just wounded. Yeah, that's the right. And they were just tired, and everybody's tired. So I actually had to physically, I was chopping a old tree. That was like a symbol for me, old tree. And I was literally chopping it. Like my whole body next day was 3 days in pain. Like, oh, I don't know, ran a marathon and,
Mm-hmm.
something. And I actually had to give everything in that night. Like I had to go through my own fears, their fears, and it was when I was really done. When it was done, and then after I cut it, this tree,
Mm-hmm.
I I took like 2 minutes, and then I was called to heal, and I had to build with my healing abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Had to heal and set up a new path for my ancestors. And it was, like I said, I didn't expect it. And it's so fresh now that I'm talking to you. I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
surprised that I'm sharing here because it was like really, but it was, and it feels like a part of my life is over. And I was really strangely tired and lost for 5 days until yesterday. Yeah. It's like, what now? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
now?
And
So
how are you now?
yesterday I went to do some guided meditation
Mm-hmm.
where with Angel Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was new for me too. But he's a guy I had on a podcast, and when I saw on Facebook, I was like, I need to go here. Like, and it was the right decision because through that meditation, I kind of recharge myself and I let go of everything that even maybe stayed or what was to let it go. It was nothing like you need to let go this or whatever. But after yesterday, yeah, I feel right away after the meditation, I felt like a whole again. Let's call it like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but I know it's still a process and it's gonna
It's
come.
still, yeah.
It's gonna be, continuing. But if I didn't go yesterday, I don't think we would be recording today because I
Yeah.
was kaput. So, but how do you attack this example, this kind of stuff, answers? So, um, maybe like in my case, how do you attack in your work? Is it
I,
like the same process for everything and then just comes up, in a
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's always the same process. It's basically what we are doing
Yeah,
in holotropic sessions. We are creating space where you are able to reconnect with all
okay,
this, and the experiences that happen can be the whole range. So
okay,
people, even in the same workshop with the same music and same facilitators, people go through the whole range of experiences. Some people have just physical, like releasing lots of energy, like either dancing or if it's connected with emotions, punching something, punching pillows, or crying or laughing like crazy. It can be also remembering either in feeling this or just with pictures, like a movie that you have in your head,
Yeah.
remembering certain moments in your life that are for some reason important for you. And then there are these birth experiences that people can come to, which is it can be from any part of the birth. It can be from the womb, where most of us felt safe and it was nice, until the moment that everything started and this womb wanted to kick us out. Then there's some emotions can arise from that. Then the people who had an experience that they were stuck in the womb, for example. This is the second matrix, how Stans call it, which is before the cervix is open, so you are literally stuck in the womb. Then there is a third part, which is going through the birth canal, also a struggle, fears, different kind of emotions, death and rebirth process. Then it's being born. So people can go through all these experiences, all these sensations, or even feel it like it's happening. It's amazing, like it's happening now, And also there is the whole spectrum of these transpersonal experiences where sometimes it will be really clear that you are feeling, like you were saying, this ancestral trauma or feelings, basically emotions that were not expressed back then somehow found a way through you to want to be expressed. Sometimes it's clear, but sometimes you just have a feeling that is you were saying, so it's not mine. It's a little bit bigger than mine. It's I don't know. It makes sense in expanded states of consciousness. Like you experienced,
Yeah,
you
you
knew what it
understand.
was.
Yeah, it
It
was.
just so and. All this experience, you can also feel like one of your ancestors, or you can feel like a person from different time and different space and different culture. I don't know if it's a past life or parallel life or if it's someone else's life, or I
Yeah,
don't, I
this
don't
is
want to
the
go
question.
there.
Yeah, yeah, let's not go there. But like like now, like, is it a past life? There's no time. Everything happens at the same time and so on. But whatever
Yeah.
people wants to call it, they want to call it. But let's call it past lives for just sake of conversation. And
I mean,
just
it can be really, really like you feel it and you somehow know that you are someone else. Like I had when I was
yeah.
telling you about my ancestral line that mothers in that I really felt like my grandma when she lost a child who was 13 years old. I felt the heaviness of the child in my hands. I felt like her. I knew that it was that.
Mm,
So in holotropic breathwork and also in psychedelic sessions, you can really become someone else.
mm, mm.
And it's
Ye-
about, I think all these experiences are about us mapping our own psyche. Like, okay, I have this around my birth, I have this from my transgenerational, I have this from collective, I have this, and we are mapping it. And then when we have some overwhelming feelings or something is happening in our life, we can react differently. We can search, this is coming from this moment,
Yeah, yeah.
and
To be more aware of yourself, basically.
exactly to
Mm.
where your deepest urges or emotions come from.
Yeah, this is like, okay, I wrote here before collective consciousness, right? This was
Uh-huh.
also 3 years ago was something that I didn't even think about it. Like, and a lot of things was now realizing, looking back, I didn't react because of me. It was something else or how I felt through a day. And I'm like, why I feel bad or sad or whatever. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
everything's good in my life, right? And I didn't understand. And my question to you is because even here in this session that I had last week, right?
Mhm.
things came to me where it didn't make sense, that because it was really a tough process that I had to go through, and it was showing me things that it didn't make sense to me, that this is not mine, this is not who I am. But it was just like it was fighting, so I don't stop, right? So
Mhm.
let's call it a, whatever you want to call this, dark or whatever. I don't know really how to call it, honestly, but it was just a process, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. This is not me. This is not how I feel.
Mhm.
And how in collective consciousness, I mean, like, can you from your experience, your knowledge, explain collective consciousness first? And second question to this is like, how do you recognize in your daily life that is influencing on you?
Um, I can tell you how I experienced it. I don't have like a theory about it. My own experience.
Okay.
So for me, collective consciousness is where everything is. We are all connected. We know that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Everything is connected. And in this, if we tap into that, we can experience anything that ever happened and that ever will happen, and from any
Yeah.
perspective of any living being, or
Yes.
not even living beings.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything is one. Let's say everything's
Everything is
connected.
one.
Okay.
So
Just sorry to interrupt you. Just let me ask something else to add. Like, okay. So we have collective consciousness. We
yeah,
have our own consciousness, right?
yeah.
Okay. Everything has consciousness, stable, everything, right? So everything is consciousness. But how do, from my own consciousness, so we have my consciousness here and we
Yeah,
have collective consciousness.
collective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like everywhere. Like, okay. But how that my consciousness recognize that the collective consciousness affects my day, because I travel a lot, and every time I come back to Slovenia my moods change. Like, I get overwhelmed with the emotions that now I recognize to some level, to much higher level than I did before, but I get overwhelmed with so many emotions that I'm just like, wait, like literally, I was in Croatia 2 minutes ago, and everything I was like lovely and everything was positive, and I just crossed the border and I'm like now all depressed and like, what the heck is going on, right?
But yeah, I mean, I think we are um, as a part of this consciousness. Like
Yeah.
I saw it once in a session, as we are dropping from this big cloud of consciousness, we are dropping like single drops. We
Okay.
contain everything, and we are still connected to it, but we are individuals. And I think that. I mean, we definitely have, except for our family troubles and traumas, there is also our closer, let's say, collective. Like, for example, we all know that we are part of Balkan trauma. It has
Okay.
a name even uh, in
Can you explain?
literature.
I actually didn't know that. So can you explain the
Yeah,
Balkan trauma? Yeah.
the Balkan trauma, that so many wars are
Okay. About that.
appearing
Yeah.
here,
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And that actually it's somewhere in us, it's still somewhere in some way. What I think, how we become more of a medium for this kind of stuff, that they're like, people go around and they're not aware that there is collective something going on, and that it influences anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when we become aware, we somehow allow it to show itself, if you understand me.
Yeah.
So if you're digging, you will dig out. When you get done with your personal shit, you will go through your family shit, and then you will go through your small collective shit, and then you go to big collective shit. There is always something to heal.
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure.
So this is how I see that, and it has to do with coaxes, like the types of experiences that we will attract, or the types of emotions that we will attract, are somehow connected through these experiences. So I don't know what Slovenia is for you, and what are your connections, why this happens. So if we were talking now, if you would come as my client, I would ask you, so this feeling, have you felt that before? When was it that you feel it, that you felt it, and when was it before that you felt it? So you go back and trace to the origin of this feeling.
Feelings. Yeah. No, it's funny because, it's this collective stuff. I mean, collective consciousness, very something interesting. I'm reading a lot about it, and through my researches on articles and talking to people, it's and consciousness in general is fascinating to me, and how we are all connected, and but in the end of the day, it comes to you as a person, and then if you can heal, control, or deal with yourself, everything around then changes for you.
Yeah.
So when you raise your vibration, everything changes around you. So this is how, also I think everything else, the collective changes and everything for you. This is how I think it happens. So
yeah, I also think that we're with whatever we do with ourselves,
yeah,
and as much as we can decrease the level of fears that are
yeah,
guiding
yeah.
us through lives, and allow more love and joy, that by healing this part of ourselves, we are somehow emitting, also becoming a medium for this to feed the collective
Collective
consciousness,
consciousness. Yeah, yeah.
because we are feeding it, the energy of fear. If we can see that in with media, with certain events in the recent past, how this collective fear can be really boosted, and if you are going to be drawn or sucked into that or not, it depends whether you understand what's happening.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, if you example, it's very simple. If you are just 14 days somewhere without TV, internet, you are not influenced on, from the news or whatever your channels of informations are, you're not influenced that. So it's not in your consciousness. But if you always watch a TV or something that is negative, the fear will be, and this is how it's programmed, everything, right? So people are
It's like
always,
we open the doors. We open
yeah,
the doors for this fear to come in, and then our
Mhm.
fear going out, and
It's true. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's the other way around. Also, if we are
Mhm.
grateful in life, if we, really practice gratefulness for everything that
Mhm.
in us, around us, giving thanks to, plants and animal kingdom, and the Mother Earth, or whoever you have as the subject of who is nourishing you.
Mhm.
If we are thankful, grateful, then we are also emitting that out. We are opening those doors, and those kind of experiences will come to us and become.
Mhm.
We will become more connected with those that part. It's all the mix, but that part of collective consciousness.
I agree. I agree because okay, here you mentioned before, you mentioned awareness positioning system.
Ah.
Do you want to, like, because you sent me like several topics, do you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
continue this where we left off with something else,
No, no, no. This is actually really good. This is because you asked me how to recognize
okay,
where does
so
it come
can
from.
you
This is
explain what is,
exactly,
okay.
yeah, this is
Okay.
exactly the place to mention it. So awareness positioning system was called like that by one of our teachers, Tav Sparks. who I also had a privilege to work very close with, and he's passed now. But this is something that is very deep in holotropic paradigm, and I think it's very useful for everyone. It's this representation of our internal system as coordinate system, you know.
Okay.
And on this horizontal axis, you have everything that happens around you. So all the triggers that are around you are on that level. On the vertical level, you have, if you look deep inside, you have everything that already happened to you and everything that you bring from whatever far away you bring it. And also everything that you wish for, or that you are want to achieve, or that you are opening to. So imagine this is a vertical, this is horizontal, and everything that happens outside is a trigger. So you see someone, it triggers some kind of emotion for you. You go, and the practice is that you really go and see where this trigger is touching your vertical. So is it some previous experience? Is it something that happened to you when you were very little? Or is it something that you would like to have or change or whatever? So, for example, with your example, like entering Slovenia, this is if you would be doing this practice, okay, is this familiar? Okay, what is it connected to? Where have I felt that before? You know, with what circumstances is connected? With what, maybe an event from the past? Or you're asking yourself, like literally asking your inner self to show you what it is. And then if you find something that is there that you don't like to do, you wouldn't like to have in your life, you just allow it to be released, like with gratitude, with okay, I understand now, okay, I'm so grateful. That was also saying you can always offering to the above, or whatever practice you have that you want to dissolve it from your system.
I understand.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does. Look, I have about this a couple questions, you know.
Okay.
So you actually witness self. So you just explained that, right? But yeah, basically you answer all the questions about it. It's interesting. Because you know you're explaining something that I'm doing in a little different way, you know,
Okay.
but you put definitely more attention if I'm talking about myself, like in my case, to be even more like asking questions, more asking questions. This is something I took it from what you just said, right? Because you need to be more aware of it in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to really dive deep, there is this book that I read a long time ago, and always recommended, Focusing, of I can't remember the writer. I will send
Okay.
you. It's called Focusing. It's a very simple practice that where you ask yourself these questions, and in order to confirm the answer, you feel it in your body. And if it's you, when you are telling yourself the answers, like you're asking question, why do I feel like this? Oh, is it because I'm on a train? You don't feel release. Is it because I'm, I don't know, something? Or is it because that this happened to me when I was entering? And then you feel kind of a release in your body after asking these questions, and after answering this question for yourself. And this is how you go deeper and deeper. Okay, and with this curious intention, you know, like just exploring it, because I really believe that we have everything stored in our body. Emotions, everything is stored in our body
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah,
all the
it's in
previous
everything is
experience.
in your cells. Actually,
Yes.
everything is in your cells, and basically, example before I mentioned theta healing,
Hmm.
the practice, right? So basically, why I really always enjoy, and I recommend people to wherever they are to check and find a guided person that resonates with them and go there because it's very effective. And what they do, it's like up to 21 days. The guy, the practitioner, basically change the programming in your cells for
Hmm.
whatever intention it is, right?
Hmm.
It can take in 1 day or it takes up to 21 days.
Hmm.
It's a method from United States. I did it here. It's actually my next educational I'm gonna take starting that for my healing practice that I do. It's amazing and it's very effective. So basically, even like Joe Dispenza. Then you have one of my favorite guys is oh, the guy who actually scientifically proved that with your thoughts you can change your DNA and cells and reprogram them and you can heal yourself basically instantly, right? So basically with your thoughts and so on. So this is everything is stored at. So all our everything that we talked about, the ancestors, childhood, not trauma, but experiences, everything is stored in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we need to reprogram ourselves to
Yeah. Somehow
somehow
reprogram or
clean. I mean,
yeah,
the
clean,
healing,
heal.
heal. It's I don't know. I don't like. The healing word is um, very outdated because it affects like how do you say? It's always so that it's a circle. So it's always coming back. It's always something to
Mhm.
heal. But you
Yeah.
basically, yeah, it's called you harmonize something. You harmonize. You need to like uh, change it, like So it's it's everything in the inside. So we are able to heal ourselves to do everything right, but to get to that knowledge, or we need help. And we need you
Yeah.
know practices like you do or other people and so on.
Yeah, especially because in the world we live in, this kind of knowledge is not shared.
No.
Like, for example, when we were, I was, we were organizing Stanislav Grof visit to Zagreb, and it was a big event with. There was a long lecture of him the whole afternoon, and we were trying to find, people to collaborate. And we went to university, and the event was called the Revolution of Consciousness,
Wow.
and they like with R in the brackets, Evolution of Consciousness, and they were laughing at us. They were saying like, "Wow, this is ridiculous," It was 10, 12 years ago. Nowadays, maybe they're a little bit more open, but it's not common knowledge, what we are talking about here. It's not common knowledge that we have everything stored in our bodies, or that
Yeah.
we are energy, or that we are all connected. It's not common knowledge. It's something
It's
that is actually, we are programmed completely different way. We need
yeah.
to unlearn those programs in order
Yeah.
to even be able to experience something like this.
Yeah, I completely agree, I mean, this is beside my personal interest in this, and I'm very curious about all of these things. So this is why, even in the past I did past life regressions, I did DMT, mushrooms, theta healing, I just mentioned I went to meditation with Angel Raphael, and I'm like, ask me about 3 years ago, Angel Raphael, yeah, okay, whatever, man, like, yeah, but and I had a guest talking about galactic akashic records. So this is the
Mhm.
collective consciousness where everything is stored and so on, right? And then for me, this is fascinating. And we need to talk about this stuff. And this is why I have people like you on here so they can share this. beside their personal stories, so people can find what resonates with them.
Yes, exactly.
It doesn't need to be a big deal. Like I don't feel really good because I don't know. I really don't like my job. And maybe I want to find a new job or something. And they come to you and, you take them through the process and then they realize others 100 stuffs that anyway, they need to, if they want to have a new job. They don't, I like, you don't, you think, your consciousness or like your knowledge.
Mhm.
I just do you know who is Bentov? Istov Bentov?
Mhm.
The guy he mapped the conscious. It's not mapped the consciousness. He explains the consciousness. I have an article about him when he says more I not like more I know like right now I'm the most ignorant I can be. Like more I know, more I'm ignorant. So like more I have
Mhm.
questions, more. And it's like every time I talk to somebody, it's like, oh shit, I don't know anything. And more like, like it's like I do
But
this
it's a
stuff.
good thing.
No,
It's a
it's
good
amazing
thing.
thing. It's
It's
amazing
great.
thing. And then I will try all these different stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I get this insights about myself, about the world, about the bigger picture or my own world, and it's very interesting to me. And this consciousness and what I'm researching with all of this that I'm doing on a side that and I'm trying to figure out a couple things
Mhm.
and people like you and then like I do articles on Stanislav Grof and then I read and I'm like, okay. And you try to connect all of this, like how is this all connected and why is that all connected? And this is fascinating to me to do this. And
Mhm.
it's we should talk. And at the beginning when I started this, I was like, oh, what will people think? Or how this is gonna look. And now I'm just like, I don't really care. Yeah,
You will
whatever.
look crazy, and
Yeah, it's fine.
that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I don't really. I know I'm now at the point where I really doesn't matter anymore. I really
Yeah.
am. At the beginning, it's not like was not like that. And everybody that says they didn't care from the beginning, it's usually 99% of them they're lying. But it just doesn't matter really anymore because the way the world is and where it's going, and if you take also the spiritual point of view from
Yeah.
it, I mean, some people better they don't know where what's going on because it's so crazy. It's so
It is.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so crazy that all these realities exists
Exist.
and we are all connected to them. And then you try to figure out how you're connected and why you're connected. And it's interesting.
And what to do to stay connected?
And stay connected and in the process not to go completely crazy. And,
But
oh,
what is crazy? What is
man.
crazy?
So this
Because
is
today also diagnosis, everybody gets a diagnosis for whatever, and there is this normal box that you fit in, and there is a little bit abnormal
Mhm.
alternative box. There are now different boxes, that you can fit in. But yeah, I mean, this is Leo is he opened my eyes for many many things. When we were
Yeah,
talking, and and he says that actually we're kind of under attack. The humankind is under
yeah,
attack. I don't
yes.
know who is attacking, but there are certainly heavy energies that are preventing us from being human, almost. You know.
I can give you a little bit answer on that because I had a guest talking about that.
Uh-huh.
And in the last year, I learned about galactic connections, uh,
Uh-huh.
galactic history. So, and it started about a year ago. And I'm gonna put out the article that I did in collaboration with other two guests that I had, and they did the
Mm-hmm.
work, and it's gonna be map of our galactic history. And
Mm-hmm.
the way that other people that are really certain in that, they said this is a simple one, but it's a huge one. I mean, it's a really big history line. And the what Leo thinks, this is from my own uh, knowledge and perception, is this is so much complex because we are not alone here, and these other aliens, extraterrestrial, however, ever, they're a big part of our life, and our history is not the way we've been taught. And but the mostly what I think he thought, it's a we are in a spiritual world right now, and everything
Mm-hmm.
that people, the system, the galactic version of reality they're doing is it's basically that we are not connected directly to the creator. You want to call it
Yeah.
God, whatever it is you want to call it. The guy who made that, or a woman, or a being, whatever. And it's basically our line. So basically, this
Mm-hmm.
us being connected there directly, because then we are pure. So we have that, you can connect to that energy up there, and you can ask for anything like you described before. You can heal yourself, you can, get answers, whatever. And because then, and you mentioned fear. So basically, all these beings that are not in our favor, let's call it like that, they feed themselves on our fear.
Yeah.
And all of this collective, you can call it collective consciousness. I think that's what I'm talking about, a different thing right now. But
Collective dark side.
yeah, yeah, it's maybe like that, yeah. So yeah, this is kind of the things that and I had the ones that are interested in galactic history, they should check my interview with the Becca B. I think it's number 15, and she explains the galactic history.
Okay, very interested.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, yeah. So it's a much more complex. I didn't know we're gonna go there today, but this is
No,
awesome.
yeah. Uh, but I have to say also that it is changing in a different way. Also, I mean, we live in times where the things that we talk about are becoming more and more normal. I mean, you know, we are talking about this,
Yeah, yeah.
and there are people watching it, and also the new approaches in therapy are taking into consideration all this. So we are becoming legit, let's say, and there
I mean,
is.
I don't think it's a problem about being legit, and this is the one topic that I actually, you suggested it, but I wanted to talk to somebody for a
Uh-huh.
very, very long time.
Okay.
And this is psychedelic use in therapy
Uh-huh.
and your association, because and this is something that you told me you would like to talk about it. But the people that know the history of psychedelic, they know that they have, in the right use, in the right environment, under all these conditions, they're very, very therapeutic. And I think this is out of the box for some time now,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
15 years ago it wasn't.
Yeah. But now everybody.
Now everywhere it's like everybody's like
Yeah.
that has 5 minutes is a shaman, right? Like and everybody's like, oh, I went for a weekend and I'm gonna help people. Come
Yeah.
on, come on, people, chill out. You have a couple of years to work on yourself before you can even do
Exactly. Yeah.
anything for others, right? And
Yeah.
so tell us about this. Tell us about where we are now in Europe, or in your case, maybe Croatia or wherever you work. And how do you see where we're going to use the psychedelics in therapy again in legit? Maybe that there will be, some institution, or like you would be like, hey, instead of, drugging my son or my husband or wife with some heavy medicine, let's go here and, pay with our health insurance, and let's go on, I don't know, MDMA, LSD, or whatever,
Or some.
some type of psychedelic therapy.
Okay. There. So I mean, I told you, like, being part of holotropic community, and also when I met Leo, you know, his also connection to psychedelics, and we went through a lot together, have many experiences. So we know that it works, that psychedelics work, that expanded states of consciousness work. And my goal from the beginning was, you know, for this to become available to everyone that needs it. Like, let the medicine come to the people. A year ago, we started, I got involved, we got involved in the, it's called Psychedelic Care. It's European initiative for reintroducing psychedelic therapy into therapy. Basically, it's a format of European initiative. If you know what it is, like if you collect 1 million signatures across Europe, with some minimums per country, you can ask from European Commission or Parliament, from the governments, that to do something. Okay, in this case, Psychedelic Care is asking for more research, for more talking about the subject of psychedelics in therapy, but most of all for taking psychedelics out of the illegal substances, or substances that are called drugs. Yeah, because drugs means that they don't have any value in healing, you know, and we know that they do. So this initiative started a year ago. Actually, on 16th of January we started. We haven't collected nowhere near 1 million. We are on 40,000 now. It is a little bit depressing, but this is exactly why we need this, you know, because we need broader public to be aware of the benefits. You know, you and I, and you talk with people, and but we live in a bubble. Let's be honest. We have our circles somehow. Not live in a bubble. It's, you know, you say everybody.
We connect with people who think the same, and it's not a lot of the same people that they don't have a clue about it. They look at us like hippies still, or some yeah. Let's be honest, like
junkies,
if you talk,
you know?
or junkies, and it's like, no, dude, like, you know, while I was not a lot of years here, but you know, I come back to Slovenia and everybody's like, yeah, half of Ljubljana is on coke, half of this is on this, and it's like, or alcohol. Everybody's drunk every weekend, and that's normal because
that's normal. Yeah, that's
because it's accepted. But people don't know that's the alcohol is even the worse than anything else, basically, right? And from so many reasons, but.
You still have people who will think that, you know, if they eat mushrooms that they will go crazy and never be back.
Hey, look, and you know what the thing is? I met people that did ayahuasca. I met a person, one that did ayahuasca, did with the wrong guy, and he went completely nuts. He's in, you know, and I think somebody helped him to get back. You know, with psychedelic, I always say that, yeah, well, people think in general they will take mushrooms, they're gonna go crazy. Yeah, I agree. But I always like to emphasize that, you know, you really need to do your own research before you take.
Well, the initiative is because of that. You don't have to do your own research. You would have to research would have been done for you, you know.
I understand.
If it becomes mainstream, if you can really get prescription for a session of mushrooms, like it's in the States now, you know, this can really help people. You know, and it's in a safe way. Because now what you have is people who are struggling with depression, and they read somewhere and they hear this podcast and they, okay, I will solve whatever my mental issue is with psychedelics, and then they go to someone who is not experienced it, because there is no registry of who is experienced and who can do this, and you know, and everything is a little bit underground, everything is illegal, you know. It's hard. It also doesn't create the safe space that people need to heal, you know. If they're doing something that is illegal, it's not safe. So this is what we want to do. That we want to achieve that the awareness about the benefits of psychedelics when they are properly used, and
This
also
is
the awareness that the going crazy part only happens if it's not properly used, if you don't have support, if you don't have preparation, session integration, like we were saying, you know. So this is why we want it to become common knowledge. One
I
day,
mean,
I really
yeah.
hope that it will become common knowledge.
Well, I think it will be. I think that society goes there. I personally believe that this will go how do you say exponential?
Exponentially, yeah.
Yeah, exponential, because we are living in times where collective consciousness raised is expanding. I think people are more everyday aware, more and more,
Hmm.
not just about psychedelics, right? Just in
Yeah,
general, I think the bubble, I mean, also everything is supported in that way. And we need to just do the work like this,
yeah,
like this, and,
yeah,
keep fighting. And, I think Europe is in general a little behind United States because
yeah,
South America is a leading in this with their tribes and through whole history of ayahuasca and everything, right? So a lot of people come here from South America and do the sessions and so on.
yeah. That's true. I mean, here in Europe, because they kept the tradition. They kept the tradition despite everything that was happening, despite everyone that was coming there and trying to convince them otherwise. They kept the traditions. Also, North Americans,
Yeah.
Native Americans, they kept their tradition, although secret, but they kept it somehow. But here in Europe, it's very scarce. We cannot remember the old teachings because there was no one was,
Yeah.
telling them.
Okay, so
So now we are taking what the rest of the world knows. For me, I mean, what I wanted to say is I
yeah.
wanted to invite everyone to sign this psychedelic care. I will give you the link if it's
I'll
possible.
put I'll put all the links that you need in the
Yeah, and
description.
to help us reach at least some goal and to help us raise awareness of the real benefits of psychedelics in therapy.
Yeah. I mean, this is for people who know that there have been, especially in United States, in
Mm.
70s, CIA did it first, and they were experiencing, for all sort of, they were testing on people also, not such a good tests for humans. But, and then I think where I read yesterday, a couple of weeks ago, all this research
Mhm.
that was done, let's say in 20, 30, whatever years, only 10% of those documents is still
Exist.
exists, yeah, or available to us or exists at all. So
You
imagine,
know that Stanislav Grof had his house burned with all his literature, all his
I didn't know that.
files.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exact the year, but it was, I don't know, late 70s, something like that.
Well, look, the problem about let's be really frank here, right? Why there's a war on drugs still and why this is still not? Well, the thing is, there are two reasons, right? And this is
Hmm.
nothing against modern medicine at all because I think it goes hand in hand. But there are two reasons. Main one, you don't really need to use, in 99%, you don't need to use medication that you buy in pharmacies. Second thing is it's expand your consciousness. So if you expand your consciousness, you can't be really, it's harder to control you and be in fear all the time. Because through everything that we talked today, through all of this process, and I shared and you shared, and you explained how you do it, through all of that experience that you go through breath work or whatever method you choose, you kind of you get it that there's something more and that there's some other perspective of your current view of your life or your
Mm,
reality. So your reality changes.
yeah,
But so the system can't control you if your
anymore.
mind is your free. So let's be really honest. Why this is in a bottom? Why is this
Yeah.
like the way it is? Right
Yeah,
now,
no, I agree. I agree
now
completely.
then we have access of people that we've been programmed. Look, before I took first time mushrooms, I had to reprogram myself for 1 year that I lost fear, not thinking I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had,
that's what I'm
you
saying. Yeah,
understand, that was like
yeah,
15, 16 years ago. And I
yeah.
was like, whatever was available online at the time, podcasts, books, you understand, trying to understand how this experience will look like and what can I expect, right? But the point is that what you said, I thought I'm gonna, if I take mushrooms, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go crazy,
yeah.
you know? And I'm like, oh, well, then I just took it and yeah, it was completely opposite. But yeah.
Mhm. But it's hard to convince people because, well, we've been brainwashed into this particular thing and also into believing that we're not capable, that we need someone else to, guide us or to show us or to treat us or to like medically, I'm talking about mental health issues,
Yeah.
like we are kind of used to some intervention from the outside, we lost this connection and this belief in our own strength, inner healing wisdom, that I'm wise, and like the core of me is wise, and knows what to do.
But did you
So
think like that before you went through your own transformation?
no, 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 come on.
That you
No.
have insight? I
No,
didn't
I
too.
don't.
No.
Yeah, and even I mean, I did have some hunches and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
intuition. Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
feel
yeah.
my intuition, but it was always, yeah, you're stupid, yeah. But I need to go, I need to work, or I need to do this because it's proper, or because I need to earn money, because I need to travel, because I need to this, need to that. And I was really, really good person of the system for the system. I was earning good and spending really good. you know
That's the trap
and
of the
yeah,
money,
it
isn't
took a
it?
while. It's about the money, I think so. Yeah, that money runs the world. And if you always, whatever is happening, if you go and track the where the money goes and who is earning, you will have everything explained, like, okay.
Yeah. If you don't
And I know
understand
people,
something.
yeah, people tell me that with this making psychedelics legal, that again we will let I don't know, pharmacies or mainstream medicine run the show, and maybe not in the way that would
Oh,
be
it's the
the
same with
best.
the weed. Yeah, it's the same case with the marijuana.
Yeah, this
It's
is
the
what
same
is
case.
exactly what I said. But at
Yeah.
least people will not think that they will go crazy if they eat mushrooms. They
Yeah.
will know that this kind of thing is legit and exists, and it's helpful and it's beneficial, and then they will choose if they want to go and to the pharmacy, or they want to go and pick their own mushrooms and develop
Yeah, I mean, look, it's better that it's legal,
Yeah,
and in the end of the day, look, people will need to educate if they want to educate themselves in these days about whatever topic that is. There's no
very true.
excuses,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And with the development of AI and you taking 15, 20 minutes, 1 hour for that topic, you can learn really quickly at least the basics of whatever topic you're interested in.
Oh, for sure, for
So
sure. Yeah,
so so you know, yeah, it's better, but it's a tricky one, like you said, where it's
it
gonna
is.
go. You it's the system. We are part of the system. There's no point of changing it. I think it's better just, I don't know, uh, create out of this something new, or try to coexist I don't know yet. I
I
didn't
don't know.
get.
We watched me and Lau. We watched some time ago, well, more than 10 years ago, this movie. It's called Subtle Activism,
Okay.
and it's about how this era basically is about subtle activism, not about going on the streets and wanting to change something, but
Hmm.
changing on a small scale, let's say. And this is what I think we're doing. We're helping people to become aware that there are things that are beneficial for them, to become aware, to go through their own experiences, to
Hmm.
see what expanded state of consciousness is, to then maybe put their own life into perspective and, little by little unlearn what we learned. And maybe in their own transformation, they will influence 2 or 3 more people, and and little by little we will spread like a mushroom.
Like, yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, because the thing is, right? You're completely right, I think, because uh, there are different communities. I mean, probably everywhere in the world, but if I talk about Slovenia and Europe,
Mhm.
where they kind of build their own communities, they come and help each other. They go to the nature. They do different, rituals, let's call it like that, or um, connecting to the nature, and but
Yeah.
it's based on helping each other, right? And sharing knowledge about how to grow food and how to have a clean food example and whatever.
Mhm.
So, okay, if we are in Europe, so what's the biggest, is this is like challenge now? Besides, it's not just like a small challenge, but if you get a million, so let's say that you get 3 months from now, you get 1 million signatures.
Signatures, yeah.
Okay. So what's next step? So you go with that, explain to me like fast. So you get this 1 million signatures and you go to European Commission
Commission,
and whatever. And you say what? You say
and
like,
they need, yeah, we'd say, talk about it, bring some laws, some recommendations for the countries, because you know how it is in Europe. They create some kind of frame
mhm,
for laws and recommendations for it, and then each country has to then implement this into their system. So this is
okay.
the idea, to have like an umbrella from Europe, and then each country to implement it. But we can see that some countries are already implementing it without recommendations from European Union,
Okay.
which is Czech Republic has legalized use of psychedelics in therapy, and also
Really?
German. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And also Germany, they have it's a special, like, there is a possibility that you can ask. It's not automatic, let's say, but you can receive if you want the treatment with psychedelics in Germany. So
Okay.
things are happening,
So good.
Slovenia, for example, is very advanced in this field. I know that you have, no, really, you have the Rabbit Hole Institute, that you're already, there are people in therapists who are already in training to become psychedelic therapists. So you are, like with everything else, a little bit more advanced than the rest of Balkans. um, in Croatia also, I mean, usually we follow Europe, but we will also have, like, this is a European initiative, but then we
Mhm.
will put it on also on the country levels, in order, for this to really be implemented and for people to really have access to psychedelic therapy,
Yeah. Yeah,
or at least for some research to start, because there is no research in Europe because it's forbidden, you know?
even the research is forbidden or what?
Yeah, because it's Schedule A drug. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
this is so stupid. This is so stupid.
Yeah, a friend of mine, he was starting a research, and then he with MDMA, he wanted to research the potential use for PTSD. Here, that we have veterans that are still struggling 30 years after. And the only research they could do is what is the potential, so nothing that actually would include, the substance.
Experience, yeah,
Yeah, or
experience.
experience.
Basically, let's just make a theory, let's just make a graph, and this is what can happen,
Yeah,
right?
let's just see what
Mhm.
we need to do in order to be at least be able to do a research.
Thi-
So
This
this
is
is
for
what we
me,
need.
yeah.
We need, yeah, universities to get involved, and governments, and
You know what
ministries
is, I
of
think it's
health.
best, I think it's best to, we need to do all of this that you're saying, I agree, they need to be, but it's just, you just start your own institution and find investors that are on board with this kind of thinking, right?
Also.
This is my suggestions too, because I was talking to somebody, I don't know, he wanted to do, oh, I forgot now where I was in Greece now, and I was talking to a guy, and I think he wanted to, no, I talked to our friend,
Uh-huh.
Ange. So I said, like, you want to build your own community, just find some rich guy who has the same thing. And I gave him some, like how to approach this. And I don't mean like rich guy, like, go there to, but like he needs to be on the same level of frequency and, thinking. But I don't really didn't mean like that. Just find social investor and make a proper plan and proper everything what you want to do and how this is going to look, because I think for these kind of things, at least from the history, it's always was somebody that started something on a site. You understand? And
Yeah.
then the mainstream and institutions and everything got accepted because it was so
Mhm.
crazy that basically they were rejected in whatever industry or whatever field they were working, that there was no other options than, look, this is the idea, this is where I'm going, and this is what I'm gonna prove. And he was rejected by mainstream, by society, by
Mhm.
everybody. Basically, anybody that did anything that was, 10, 20 years later, they were like, oh, he was a prophet, almost like he
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
the
yeah,
future, right?
yeah.
But everybody's ridiculous. But at that point, everybody is
It's
like
ridiculous. Yeah.
ridiculed.
Yeah.
They're ashamed. They lose their jobs. They are from their whatever their profession is. They're excluded from that profession. Why? There are several reasons to this. A, other people don't see what your vision is. They don't see what you see.
Mhm.
Second is the mainstream, so people are afraid for their jobs. So how many scientists, if you look like in whatever field they're doing, they go against the new evidence of whatever that
Mhm.
is because they are afraid. Well, first challenge their ego because now, oh, I've been teaching this for 30 years and now
And
it's
now I have to admit.
now I have to admit that I was wrong. Then are paid by,
Yeah.
companies that, oh, we need this kind of research, or you don't get financing for more research for your own, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I think it's just best to find something on your own and do it slowly scale and and do what you do, and we'll put all the how do you say, all the links and everything, and hopefully
Thanks.
you get more. Tell me, Tina, where they can find you. Where are you based? You are based in Zagreb, right?
Yeah, we're in Zagreb. We do our workshops here. We have beautiful space to do workshops and individual sessions. I also do sweat lodges with Leo here in Zagreb and in some beautiful places. So yeah,
Very.
uh, people can find me. I think we'll put an email down or
We'll put your website,
website. Okay,
sviesno.com, right?
desno.com, yeah, and then yeah, you can
You'll
reach
send me
me.
all the links later. What you want me, I put, and I'll put
Okay,
there.
okay,
Okay.
yeah.
For the end, do you have anything would you like to add?
Um, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and let's keep doing each of us, on our small scale or whatever the scale. Let's
Mm,
do this work because I think it's important that people get this information and people can, as you say, choose from different things and different perspectives and methods, something to help them.
Mhm.
Because I really believe that there is a change happening and that people are becoming more and more conscious and more connected to the consciousness. So yeah, just I would encourage everyone to just follow their call and follow their arrows. Uh, and yeah, let's make this a little bit better world for our children and their children and 7 generations after us, at least.
We have to change that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leo explained me that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Tina, for being my guest. It was awesome. So,
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was really nice experience. Now it's getting a little bit dark. I'm just fading away in the darkness.
no, it's good. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good.
Uh,
Thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Bye.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.